Guys, I'm home. I'm in my garden in Rwanda, and my days is mad. It's amazing. It's full. It's literally got everything in it. While I'm here, I'm just like thinking a lot about my life, how I ended up here, why I ended up here, the circumstances under which I'm in, and other people's opinions of my life and what it is that I'm doing. Everyone's having an opinion. Every single person has an opinion about what I've done. And yeah, I feel like I can release the fact that I know that everybody has an opinion. Some people approve and think, well done, like you've done a good thing for yourself. Other people are like, well done, you've done a good thing for yourself, but your kids, like you left them, like I wish that they were with you. Other people are like, how dare you, why did you do that? You should just stay in the UK and like suck it up and be strong. And I'm here like, nobody knows what I know. Nobody knows what I know. And even if I told them what I know, they still wouldn't get it and they still wouldn't understand. And the way and the reason why I ended up here is divine providence, divine guidance. It's just something that has been over me and my life even before I was born. There were things that I needed to know about my ancestors, about my grandparents, about my great-grandparents, that I never would have found out by staying in the UK. And I never would have come here if I felt like I have to hold fast to everything that I have. Like I have to stay in my house, I have to stay in my job, I have to stay with my kids, I have to stay with Bola, I have to stay on social media, I have to stay obedient to society. I've never been someone who gives a shit about what society thinks, really. I don't give a fuck. Like, I actually just don't. I really don't. Like, you're the woman, you're supposed to cook, you're supposed to clean, you're supposed to do this. No. You're the woman, you're supposed to share a bed with your husband and do all of this kind of stuff. No. Like, I want to serve my husband. I want him to want to come home. Like, I want him to rush home to me and be like, she looks after me so nicely, but not because society's told me that. I want to be a mum who my children love and they can talk to about anything, anytime, but not because society expects it of me. I want to educate my children how I want to educate them and the things that I think are important, not because anyone is telling me that they're important, but because I feel like they're important. The thing is, each and every single one of us come from a lineage of ancestors, of grandparents, of parents, and each of us are affected by their choices. Each of us are affected by the way that they live their lives. Each of us are affected by their afflictions, each and every single one of us. So while everyone and their mum has an opinion about the things that I've chosen to do recently, if you're not awake to the fact that I have a lineage and I have a mission and a purpose that's beyond just being a human being and doing what everybody does, it's beyond that. It's a spiritual overlord of my life, you know? And it's been this way. Like, I understand why my mum is the way that she is and why she struggles with the things that she struggles with. I understand why I've been basically neglected much of my life as a result of that. I understand what her mum was like and what she went through and the choices that she had to make. I understand that she fled this country, this place. I'm not sure if it's this garden in particular, but this place, to go to the UK to live the life that she lived, and then she continued to experience afflictions out there. I understand that her mum before her had I understand all of that now because I came here. I understand why I feel the way that I feel and why my brain is the way that it is and why I function how I function and how I don't function like other people. I understand it now. I don't beat myself up about it. I'm not frustrated and pissed about it. I'm literally here like, well done for doing a hard thing. Well done for literally going against the grain and doing such a hard thing. Well done for coming here. Well done for saying that you need help. Well done for going back to the source of your origin. Well done. And finding out these things. Well done. And yes, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month out of your day-to-day UK life as a mother has been set aside. This has always been ordained. It always has. It was what it was meant to be. And I just knew that within my heart. I knew that I would go on a journey and on a mission. Before I even had kids, I had like, oh, these birds are amazing. Can you see them? They just flew really fast. I don't know if you got to see them. They're amazing. Every time I see them fly, I'm like, wow, I'm definitely in a new place. Before I had kids, I already knew that something like this would happen. I already knew before I had kids. I was even scared to have kids because I thought, oh my God, they're not going to like me because I know that I have to go on a mission. I know that. I thought that I had that fear, and I think that's why I worked so hard all my life to like make them close to me, because I was like, oh my gosh, no, like there's going to be a time, there's going to be a thing, there's going to be a season, something's going to happen that's going to keep me apart from them, and I'm going to be in a garden, I'm going to be outside, I'm going to be in a garden, and they're going to be separate from me. I thought it was going to be me in my own garden in the UK, and that they would be inside and they would not be able to come. But it's this moment right here, it's this revelation that I'm having right now, right here in Rwanda, while they're still in the UK. It's me understanding that every time I've ever judged my mum, and every time I've ever judged any woman that's left her kids, I've been misjudging. I've not understood that they had a lineage, they had a reason, they had a purpose, they have a mission. So I'm doing this video now because there are so many of you who are like, well done, like you've done a great thing to listen to God, and I love you so much and I respect you and I am grateful that you understand. And then there's a bunch of you who is like, I can't believe you did that, like, oh my gosh, how could you have gone, how could you leave your kids, how could you leave your man with them, how could you? You people are the ones that I'm addressing in this video when I say that there is something stronger than me, bigger than me, before me and after me, that is causing this moment to be what it is right now. The way that I'm feeling inside of myself, the things that I've experienced, the thoughts that I'm having, I'm not in control of those things. I'm not in control of the way that my mum raised me. I'm not in control of the fact that my dad abandoned me. I'm not in control of the fact that none of my family are close. I'm not in control of any of that. And I have tried my best to control it. I've tried my best to be this woman and this girl who's like, I'm just going to be extra kind every single chance I get, even if it makes me feel bad inside. I'm just going to listen to everybody and do everything that everybody says just because I want everyone to like love me and to be close. What was that? That was huge. But now I'm like, Lord, have your way. Listen, I see you. And you were here before I was born. You were here before my grandma was born, my great-grandma was born, before her mum was born, before her great-grandma was born. And you've seen how they've lived their lives, the choices that they've made, the afflictions that they faced, the things that they had to overcome, and the way that they raised their children, the way that their children saw their life choices, and the decisions that their children made. I see it all now. I don't see it all because I haven't been there, but I see so much more of it from the fact that I stepped out of my day-to-day life, out of my day-to-day affliction and pain and striving and just being like, do I look like someone who is from the UK? Do I look? I mean, like, just, you don't even have to open your eyes wide. You can like squint and see she's not from the UK. She's not an Anglo-Saxon descendant. She's not. So have your beefs, have your opinions, have your concerns regarding why I left the UK to come here, despite the fact that my children were there. My children are with their father. And being here has been revelationary for him as well. He just thought, I don't know what he thought. He just thought, we'll just get through this. Every day we'll just wake up and get through this. Every day we'll just wake up and get through this. He doesn't have the same kind of like concerns or pains that I do. He's living hundreds of miles away from his family. His origin is Nigeria. He was born in Nigeria. He lived a life in Nigeria. He's got siblings still in Nigeria. He's got siblings in Ireland. He's got siblings in America. His family have recently become separated and dispersed. My family had been from long before separated and dispersed from my Rwandan side, from my Nigerian side, and now I'm in the UK, a descendant of a descendant of a descendant of in the UK, thinking I do not belong here. I'm not from this world. This is not where I'm from. This is not my life. This is not what my spirit desires. This is not right. No wonder why everybody's drunk and an alcoholic. No wonder why everybody's abusive and being battered and being battered. And no wonder why. There's something going on here. This is not okay. I'm 30 years old, and for the very first time in my life, I've been able to open my eyes to see is because we are not where we are from. We are where we are not from, and we're not supposed to be where we are, if that makes sense. Basically, we are not from the UK, and living under the culture of the UK is killing us. And it doesn't kill us overnight, like we're just going to get shot by a gun and die. But living underneath that culture, with the segregation that we face within our own family and within our own community and with our own nation, the segregation that we've faced is killing us. We need each other. We need community. We need nature. We need homes. We need land. We need these things. These things are not a desire. Oh, it would be nice if we had them. No, it is a necessity. It is a necessity. Here in Rwanda, there's something called subsistence farming. And what that is everybody who lives anywhere, like maybe if you live in the city, which is kind of trying to replicate the Western way of living, it doesn't apply to you. But if you live in Rwanda and you have a home, you have land. And if you have land, you grow your own food, and that is how you live. You don't need to go to work and get a job. You need to make sure you are cultivating your land and paying attention. So when the land gives you food, you eat. Just like all the stories in the Bible, it talks about harvest, it talks about reaping, it talks about sowing. That's just how you're supposed to live. In the UK, we don't have land. We don't have land. In the UK, we work tirelessly just to afford to live in a flat. We don't have land. But there is no way, no capability, no possibility of us having land to grow food in under the circumstances under which many of us live. I have been blessed. I have been blessed by God, by divine providence. I've been blessed by intellect. I've been blessed by teachers. I've been blessed by going to university. I've been blessed by the ability to start businesses and to make money. I've been blessed. But my story and my journey that you see here on the internet, you might think is an average black person's life in the UK. It's not. It is not. And mine isn't even that much. Mine isn't even that much. But I'm so afflicted in my own story still, even though despite all the privileges that I've had to flee and run here, because it's just not right. So if I'm living a privileged life, but I still feel so afflicted, people who are not living a privileged life, they must feel incredibly trapped. How do I get out of this scenario? How do I go and afford land? How do I move to my homeland? How do I reconnect my family? How do I heal my parents from their drug addictions and their alcohol addictions? How do I heal my families and my siblings from their abuse, their sexual abuse, their violence? How do I do that? I can't do it. I'm stuck. And then what happens to you? You end up falling into depression. You end up falling into drug use yourself. You end up falling into alcohol use yourself. You end up being abused yourself. You end up abusing your children yourself. This is what happens when you're not part of your land. This is what happens when you're not connected to your roots. This is what happens when you're not grounded. And being from the UK and being from the United States, yes, we have things like the NHS. Yes, we have things like free education. Yes, we have... Babes, if we go into this, we're gonna be doing this video for a long time. Yes, the free healthcare. Why is it that black women are 5 times more likely to die than a white woman? Why? Ask yourself that question. Is free healthcare that good? Why is it that black students in the class are so much more likely to have lower grades than white students in the class, than Asian students in the class? Ask yourself that question. Why? We are not from these people's lands. This is not our culture. Yes, it seems like a privilege, but do not be deceived by looks and appearances. Do not be deceived. Right now, I'm doing this video right now. I'm so passionate, I can't even speak. I'm doing this video right now because I have to express myself. I have to express the reason why I made the choices that I made. And I have to make it semi-clear to some of you who, number one, are not of the same descent as me, and maybe you are living in among the culture that your ancestors and your family had. If I was living here, I would have land like this. I would have a garden like this. I would. Even if my house was small and a bit like, just like a box, like small, there would still be land that comes with that house. So I could still afford to survive under the worst case circumstances. If everything happened and all of the economy crashed and everything, I have some seeds, I have some land, we can eat, we'll get through this season. There are people who are out here, they're dying of starvation, even though they're in the UK. They're dying of poverty, even though they're in the UK. And you have all of this help and all of this support, but it's not helping. It's really not helping. It might be helping to keep you alive, but it's not setting you free. So I want to do this video to say that the reason why I left was because I needed to find this out for real. I already know all of this stuff in my head, but while I know this stuff in my head and I remain in the UK, I have knowledge, but I do not have transformation because I am not applying the knowledge. So I left the UK so that I could come and apply this knowledge, so that I could come and have this revelation. And now when I return to the UK, I have a purpose and a mission. I understand now why Bolo is the way that he is. He doesn't care about traveling. He doesn't care about this. All he cares about is building back home. I didn't get that before because I've never been back home in the same capacity that I have been now. I've not lived and seen how they sustain themselves with their own food. I've not lived and seen how they don't need things like washing machines or microwaves because they know there's natural ways and resources to survive and to sustain yourself. And not to say that I'm not grateful for convenience. To some degree, I am grateful for convenience, but to a greater extent, we need to get back home. If you're a black person living outside of your homeland, you need to go home. You need to go home. Now is the time. I'm saying this solemnly. I feel like God is speaking through me. You need to go home. This is the time for you to go home. Maybe you go home and you're buying land out there. Maybe you go home and you're reconnecting with your grandparents and your great-grandparents and your cousins and your sisters and your brothers. Maybe you're going home and you're understanding how they live out there and how they survive out there. and you are privileged to have been part of the diaspora. Diaspora means to be someone who is from one land and has been moved to another land. So being part of the African diaspora means that I'm an African who's living outside of Africa. If you are from the Caribbean diaspora, you're a Caribbean person living outside of the Caribbean. But I think ultimately every black person descended from Africa. So even if you're a Caribbean person, you are still an African descendant, you're still part of the African diaspora. It's time for you to go home. It's time for you to go home. It's time for you to start patterning up your life, looking at what really matters. It's not the bag. It's not Hermes bag, Gucci bag, Versace slides. It's not about a trip to Turkey. It's really not. If you care about the longevity of your life, if you care about your descendants, if you care about your future, it's not about any of that stuff. If you care about just immediate gratification, I just want to look good right now, I just want to feel good right now, I'm going to go on holiday, I'm going to like wind up my beat, I'm going to be wed, like, yeah, sure, of course. But if you're doing all of that and you ain't got land back home, babes, I hope you're doing all of that as some type of investment. Investing is the only way. Investing is the only way for you to truly survive and find freedom. And you can invest your money, and you can invest your time, and you can invest in other people. So when I go home, my action plan is this. I'm going to go home and I'm going to work. And I'm going to do what it takes to work. So long as it's holy and God approves, I will do what it takes to work and make as much money as I can. And that money will come back here. It will come back home. And when it comes back home, I will be building my own house, or I'll be buying my own house. I will be learning how to garden. I'll be learning how to farm. I'll be learning how to wash my stuff and how to grow things and how to educate people, where to get the best education, how to connect with these people, how to speak the language. Because I want myself and my family and my children and their children and their children's children and generations afterwards for us to be okay no matter what happens. When things like pandemics hit and epidemics hit, and when there's things like poverty, and when there's things, we're not affected. We're not deeply affected. Why? Because we are able to sustain ourselves. But as it currently stands, we are not able to sustain ourselves. Because we always have to rely on some type of free healthcare, some type of other person to educate us, some type of supermarket to give us food. No, not anymore. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for hearing me express myself. Thank you so much for like just witnessing this beautiful garden. This is just a tiny segment of the garden that I'm in. Tiny segment. Tiny. And this is in my grandfather's house. Like this is, but then he's also got a compound and he's also got like a house. What? And he doesn't think he's a rich man. I'm thinking, I think you're rich. Like, he's like, nah, this is this. You know, but easy land here, land there, land there, land there. And I'm thinking, oh my days, this is what we've been missing out on. Because what have I got? A flat that I don't even like. A flat that's been given to me by the council, and I have to sign upon this contract and this contract and this contract to stay there. A flat. And what, some education that's done what? Got me a job that's paid me what? Basically minimum wage. I mean, even as a teacher, getting paid like 30 grand a year, the amount of hours that I worked, when I calculated it, it was less than minimum wage. You might think, oh yeah, I'm a teacher, oh yeah, I'm an engineer, oh yeah, this. If you're being paid by the government, I think you're just being like taken for a ride and taken for a joke. That's just what I think in the UK, and probably also in America, but I don't really know America too tough, so I'm just assuming. But yeah, guys, make it your aim to work hard, make it your aim to make money, make your aim to save that money, and make your aim to bring that money back home and to get to know where you are from, get to know your roots. There's a movie called Roots that I've never watched because it was too sad, but I feel like maybe I should watch it now. What do you guys think? Have you seen the movie Roots? And if you have, do you think I should watch it? Bearing in mind, I am super sensitive, I'm very emotional, and I'll probably cry and be scarred for months, but let me know. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.